Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, and we are back with another episode of Abby's Window, and this is going to be a jam-packed episode of Abby's Window, and yeah, we got a lot going on. As always, I wanted to welcome in the one, the only, your Abby, our Abby, Jodie Gilly. Jodie, how are you this evening?
I'm okay. My doctor's been messing with my sleeping medications, made me a little woozy during the day. So obviously that one's not doing so great, but
I got
we'll figure it out.
I got you. Well, hopefully they get that under control, because that's the scary thing, getting groggy and everything during the day. So
It's
that's
not even groggy. It's like I feel drunk. Like I don't think I would pass a sobriety test right now because I can't walk in a straight line.
okay. Well, don't go.
When you run a hospital is kind of not a good thing. So.
No. Well, it's imperative that you are able to function.
Walk.
So, yes. So yeah. All right. So I want to say hello to some folks in the chat real quick, and then we'll get started here. Joe Shipley, did you hear about Bray Wyatt might have a new ring name? Well, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little bit about some news. So yeah, stick around. James Grant, Stefano Shaheen, Big Dan, Shane Loki, Jimmy Sturdivant, Dalton Riley. I gotta say this. Shout out to Dalton Riley. Dalton had a very, very big weekend, meeting Tara Strong and being followed by Tara, and I know that was a big event for Dalton. So shout out to Dalton.
Yeah, getting followed by somebody that you enjoy is a nice thing. Caleb, sorry.
It is a nice thing. It is a nice thing. Some of us it happens for, and others it doesn't, and some others it takes a little bit longer. And yeah, things need to happen. Dylan McClure, Khaled, what's up, Khaled? Am I ready for John Cena tonight? I can't see him, so
yeah, I was gonna say we won't be able to see him.
We won't be able to see him. Diana, let's see, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. Still love it. Rabbit Earl 910. What's up, Rabbit Earl? So welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining. Stefano's saying Jericho retweeted me the other day. That felt cool. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. That deserves to be put up on the screen there. That is pretty cool. So
pretty cool.
That is Alicia P. What's up? Saying what's up, Jeff and Jody. How are you this evening? So we're not going to belabor this. We're going to get right into it. We're going to start out with a brief Caleb's Corner, because guess what? We got a lot of Wyndham news to talk about. So Caleb's Corner.
Love it. We didn't get to share these pictures last weekend, so wanted to share them with you guys. I know I put them out on Twitter, but it's always nice to share it on the show. And he was tons of fun to meet. Obviously, I got to talk to him a few times, and he was a real sweetheart, and he's just awesome. We love him. He's going out to Montana this weekend for a show, and I don't believe he has anything else scheduled until the end of July. Okay. I'm so contemplating going to, so that concert in Wisconsin is like 7 hours away, and you know how impatient I am, and I really don't want to wait until September to see him again. And Vegas is like a 1.5 day drive. So I'm contemplating going to that Prairie Dog Blues Fest. We'll see.
Gotcha.
We'll see.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get a chance to go. Go see him again before September. So
Remind him about something that he, told me that he would do for me.
yes. So
I'm just picking on him.
just picking. Well, let's talk about, is that it for Caleb's Corner for this week? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about someone who did do something and did follow you. And that is one Windham Rotunda. And in case you have not been on the socials for a little bit, you might have missed a little bit of news, but if you're here, I highly doubt that you missed that news. And that news is that Wyndham. Well, before we get there, I want to do this real quick too. We put this up last week, but Bray, a meet and greet, 2 meet and greets, 2-day event. So you're in the Toledo, Ohio area, November 19th,
Which I will be.
which Jodie will be there.
Because if I didn't, like I said last week, I'm pretty sure he would come out here and throw me over his shoulder and drag me back. So,
yes. So
I promised that I sent him a message and promised that I would be there since I missed the last one.
That's awesome. So you won't be missing this one.
Nope.
Toledo, Ohio, not November 19th, 1 to 4 p.m., Franklin Park Mall. Then on November 20th, so the very next day, 12 Oaks Mall in Michigan, 1 to 4. And Stefano is saying, I'll be there in Michigan. So that is a good thing. Awesome stuff. Wanted to share that before we get into this bit of news. So, and of course, the one that I needed here, I've got to bring it up real quick. Let me get to it real quick here. This is in real time, so I'm adding a graphic in real time, and I just did it, so I'm happy with myself.
That's why you are the master.
I don't know about that. I do okay sometimes, I guess. But it says former WWE star Bray Wyatt, real name Windham Rotunda, recently filed a trademark for Wyatt 6 for clothing purposes. Let's stop there for a minute because I don't want to get into the rest of it. I want to take this bit by bit. So for clothing purposes, obviously pertaining to merch of some sort, but
he's a good merch seller.
He is a good merch seller. So what did you think, Jodie, when you first saw the news that he filed a trademark for clothing purposes? What were your initial thoughts?
Honestly, at first, I didn't see the for clothing purposes.
Okay.
Statement.
You just saw trademark.
First, I was like, oh, he filed for a trademark. Oh my gosh. And kind of stopped reading after that. So I had to go back and read it again. And I'm excited for him. Like, I kind of have a feeling on what this might be. And I'm really excited for him. I do definitely request some stickers to put on my car. So if you're going down that clothing merch route, Wyndham, I would like a sticker for my car, please.
There you go. Nothing wrong
you know that we're going to be all over it.
Yes.
He knows I will be all over it. I will buy. I have a whole stack of drawers full of Bray merch. So
there you go. So yeah, hopefully there's some really cool stuff because I'm intrigued because you never know. What's up, James Chadwick? Let's see. Stefano's saying could be as simple as Pro Wrestling Tees store, but I think it's more than that. Now I don't know if Jodie's ready to share what that path is. She thinks that he's going down. I don't know if she's ready to share that, but yes. And Rabbit Earl brings up a good point. Says Wyatt 6 means is his sixth creation.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that could mean a lot of things.
Yes.
You know, 6 is Nash's middle name. It's obviously spelt differently than SIX. It's SIXX, I believe.
Yeah.
So yes, I could definitely see that, Wyatt 6 meaning his sixth creation, his sixth character. I'm just you know how I am about merch.
Yeah.
I will buy it and wear it until I convert everybody.
There you go.
That's what I do.
There you go. Stefano, there's a lot of stuff that we're gonna get to in this episode. So hold some of those wrestling related questions, because we're definitely going to get to possibilities for sure. B Tazzy, the party. B Tazzy joining us. What's up, brother? Hopefully you're doing well. Okay, I'm gonna put this graphic back up because the next part of this graphic has the attention of a lot of people. He has retained the services of Michael E. Dawkins, who is the same attorney who handles trademark issues for many pro wrestlers, including many wrestlers who work for AEW. This does not necessarily mean that he's AEW bound. These are not my words. These are the words of PW Insider and the people that have been reporting this. So,
but break that sentence down a minute.
Okay, let me pull that back up. Here we go.
So he handles trademark issues for many pro wrestlers, including ones who work for AEW. So that doesn't mean he's exclusively for AEW. Right? That's what I take from that. He handles trademark issues for a lot of pro wrestlers, including many who work for AEW. That doesn't mean he's exclusive to AEW. He could be the same attorney who handles trademark issues for Impact, or maybe WWE uses him, maybe New Japan uses him, maybe some independent, at the end of the day, he is an attorney who handles trademark issues.
Yes. And I know a lot of people saw that and got super excited, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna show up tomorrow night at Forbidden Door." No, and again, it's important to catch those caveats, because that was an important piece of that. It could mean a lot of different things, but he handles a lot of trademark issues for pro wrestlers. So that's there. Obviously, and now I'm actually going to bring up the first part of a post that Jodie sent me. And this is from AEW, All Elite Wrestling News, because they felt the need to go with this, and I completely understand, because this is one of the hottest names out there, if not the hottest free agent. So I'm going to read this real quick. One of the hottest free agents in wrestling, Bray Wyatt, real name Windham Rotunda, may well be making his next big move in wrestling after recently filing for a trademark for Wyatt 6 for clothing/merchandise purposes. What is interesting is that he has retained the services of Michael E. Dawkins, who is the same attorney who handles all trademark dealings for AEW. So this one's a little bit different. This does not necessarily mean that he's AEW bound, but would not be the first star to debut in AEW after using Dawkins for trademarks before debut. The Wyatt 6 filing may indicate that this will be the name he plans on using going forward. It's also his Twitter username, and we'll stop right there because that's a lot. Now, obviously, with this site, with this Facebook group or page, they're exclusively AEW news. They report a lot of AEW news. So,
and again, it still says, even though it says that he handles all of the trademark for AEW. It still says the same thing, that he's not exclusive. They don't say he's exclusive just for AEW.
Right. So
He also said he wouldn't be the first person to, you know, use him and then debut, but there's been people that have probably used him and didn't.
Yeah. Big Dan saying, I'm going to say that, and Rabbit Earl saying the hottest of all time, hottest free agent. I'm going to say this, Jody and Jeff, with the change at the top recently at WWE and with today's latest Vince news, he may find his way back to WWE. Remember, Cody owns the American Nightmare trademark. That is very true. Hey, Deanna. How are you, Deanna?
And I think that's what the underlying goal is for Wyndham. Obviously, I haven't talked to him about this personally, but I think this has a lot to do with him wanting to have control over his own brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that may have been the motivation. You know, well, he can't have Bray Wyatt because that's owned by WWE, so he can't take that anywhere else. But if he owns his own brand, he can take that anywhere, and they can't take it from him.
Right.
I mean, how much time and energy and years of his career did he put into Bray Wyatt? I mean, he's still signing things Bray Wyatt. Right. So, you know, that name means a lot to him because it's who he was. It's who he is. So, you know, I think he's just trying to get a piece of that, you know, that he owns. That's his, that nobody else can take away from him.
Exactly. And I mean, when it comes down to it, we're going to get to the wrestling. So don't worry, folks. I mean, I know a lot of people are ready to talk about the possibilities and where he could end up and all of that. But this is just a good business move on his part. This is a really, really sound business move on his part, because now with that trademark, he will now own that.
Yep.
And like Jody said, he's able to take that anywhere. So, you know, let's say for the sake of argument, he decides not to wrestle anymore, which none of us want that. But let's just say he just wants to put out some really cool merch.
Mm-hmm.
He could do that. He could do a clothing line,
mm-hmm.
like a Wyatt 6 clothing.
The person who's going to get the money for that is him.
Yeah. He owns that trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really, really sound business move for him to do something like this. So, you know, I am excited to see what he does with it. Hopefully, Jody will tell me the path that she thinks off air, because I'm interested to hear what.
I think that's the biggest part of it. Like I said, that I think this has a basis and a foundation in him wanting to own his own brand.
Yeah.
And that nobody else can take away from him.
Mm-hmm.
He's had so much taken away from him, and, you know, lost so much control over his creativity, that I think he just wants to have that opportunity to own it for himself.
Yeah.
And whether that translates to, you know, doing his own events, or, you know, sponsoring his own events, or, you know, becoming some kind of advertising for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could see independent wrestling companies that, you know, maybe he sponsored. So, you know, such and such brings you such and such, sponsored by Wyatt 6.
Wyatt 6. Or Abby's Window, brought to you this week by
Wyatt 6.
Wyatt 6.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so it opens up a lot of doors and a lot of different avenues that he can go down from a business standpoint. And I think that's very, very, like you said, it's very, very smart. And I can't fault him for wanting to own his own, you know, You could get the Cult of Wyndham, sponsored by Wyndham Wyatt 6.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So we've got, let's see, Edward Brown. What's up, Edward Brown? Thank you for joining in the Fiend. So we're going to get to the next part of this. And let's see what it says here. Mark 4, Wyatt 6 trademark. Registration is intended to cover the categories of hats, shirts, sweatshirts, bandanas, hooded sweatshirts. Trademark for, you said what now?
I said, bring them. I'll buy them all.
The trademark for Bray Wyatt is owned by WWE, so he won't be allowed to use that name. Rotunda's last tweet on May 31st was telling fans, patience, it's almost time. All right. Now, Deanna saying she needs a new shirt. I saw someone say his new clothing line may bankrupt them. Who was that? That was Stefano saying that.
I like what Rabbit Earl said. He said Wyatt 6 jeans better than Levi's. And I love my husband picks on me for it all the time, but I love hoodies. So
hoodies are great.
Bring it on. I will buy them all. Bring me the bandanas, like I'm all over it.
Yes. So bring them on.
Yep.
Big Dan saying Windham Rotunda is an underrated business genius. I admire that man greatly. If he were to return to WWE, I'd be absolutely over the moon. I think WWE, Impact, or Control Your Narrative as favorites. We're gonna get there, Big Dan. Because let me get a couple more of these comments, and then I want to take the next part of this episode and really map out what ifs. Like, make the case. We can make the case for several different promotions or several different things. So Rabbit Earl saying SummerSlam, Dalton Riley, AEW Quake by the Lake would fit him perfectly. Deanna saying she needs a new shirt. Blood and Guts is on Wednesday. Bray has a lot of history with Mox. Alicia saying, me too, I'll buy two. Erase Your Mind is here. Mark from Facebook is joining us. Let's see here. Rabbit Earl saying he's got the whole world in his hands. If you control your own worth, you control your narrative, is what Deanna's saying. So obviously with people linking the attorney and all of that, saying, a lot of times these wrestlers get this guy, Jesse Callan, how are you? Mike Valentine. So I'm going to get to your comment, Mike Valentine. Don't worry. So obviously people are going to automatically say he's going to AEW because of that. Now, Mike, we're going to talk about it, but Mike says if Bray goes to AEW, it's going to be hard to continue to watch him because after the initial hugs from Tony Khan, does anyone actually think AEW know how to use him? My name is Jeff Edward. I would tell you a way to remember that, but I don't want anyone to get uncomfortable. Just know that I'm the bald guy, and I'll just say it like that. The bald guy is Jeff. It's all good. What's up, Conrad? Everything Pro Wrestling. Okay, so AEW. Let's say that there's some validity to that. That he goes there. How would you feel about Wyndham Wyatt 6, whatever he goes by when he gets there? How would you feel about him ending up in AEW? And I want to throw this out to the chat as well. What would your thoughts be for Windham Rotunda ending up debuting in AEW?
I'm going to be real candid, and this is probably going to sound really selfish, but I think it would be a disaster.
Okay, and I know
Obviously,
you're going to tell me why.
I would still support him because he knows that I will follow him to the ends of the earth and back again several times over. It doesn't matter where he goes, I'm always going to support him. But from a fan perspective, the only people that are allowed to talk about AEW are paid by AEW. I think it would be detrimental to any fan account or podcast or show. And this is where I say I'm going to sound a little bit selfish. We wouldn't be able to do the show anymore because AEW wouldn't let us. We would get copyright striked in a heartbeat. You can't say anything negative about them on any social media platform because you'll get in trouble for it. And, you know, I think it's more difficult for fan run things to be successful with people who are in that particular company. And like I said, that probably is going to sound really selfish. I also don't think that they know how to use a character like him at all. I mean, if you look at the dark characters that they have, how often do we see them on TV? Not very often. At all. You just don't. And, you know, I think they have been the shiny new toy for a while. And I think that eventually that allure is going to wear off. I don't think that, I don't know. I don't have anything against them. I enjoy their show. I enjoy watching, the wrestling and stuff. I think they've got a good product. I just don't think they know how to use somebody like him.
Fair points. I want to see. I know Conrad's like, who's getting paid? I need my money because Conrad talks about it.
It's a little easier now with copyright strikes than it was. They used to be really hard on everybody.
Yeah.
They've lightened up a little bit, but like I said, fan run things are a little bit more difficult for, in that company.
Gotcha. Let me get a couple comments here real quick.
And I apologize if that sounds selfish, because it probably is a little bit selfish. But I like doing this show. I don't want to not be able to do this show anymore because of where he ends up.
Right. I got you.
If he does, we'll figure something out, but
yeah, we'll adapt. Stefano saying, I agree. Malachi needs more TV time. Wyatt family return to Knockout Judgment Day and get Alexa and then go after Bloodline. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Device. Don't you do it. I said it. I did. I said it without even thinking. C Wrestling. What's up, C Wrestling? Saying Abaddon gets their yearly Halloween match on TV. Right. Erase Your Mind agreeing with you, saying what Jodie is saying is absolute truth with the copyright strikes with AEW. Let's see, James Grant saying I don't think he want to go to AEW because fans can't take photos of him without fans getting in trouble, kind of like how some fans got removed last night and got removed for taking pictures with Tay Conti.
I mean, we know how much Wyndham is for the fans, and I can't imagine him being okay with things like that.
Yeah. I gotcha. Conrad talking about AEW saying, I think AEW doesn't like using their imagery. They have a team program that looks for their logos.
Yeah.
Let's see here. If he appears on AEW, I'll help you guys navigate if needed. We appreciate that. C saying, look at the Goldberg stuff with WWE. We can criticize it and say that it's awful. If that happened in AEW, we can say it, but we wouldn't be around much longer after criticism.
Yeah.
Mr. K9, what's up? Let's see. Wyndham, if you see this, let me in. Uh, so, all right, let's say for the sake of argument that he's there, though. Let's say that he ends up there. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Conrad, about New Japan. New Japan is very strict with stuff. That's why we don't do their show after Impact, because we'd get taken down in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
But all right, let's say that he ends up there. I'm going to ask you for 3 matchups, and I'm asking Jody this, and I'm asking the chat this. Give me 3 matchups that you want to see Wyndham involved in if he's in AEW.
I mean, knee jerk reaction, you're going to go with Mox and CM Punk. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Get him back with Matt.
Okay, and do some stuff with Matt. Would you like to see him in Malachi?
I'd like to see him against Malachi.
Yes.
Sting. Yep, there's another one.
Rare Kitty Balloonicorn saying
There's
Sting.
a lot. There's a lot of opportunities there. I think he'd get lost in the middle somewhere.
Stefano saying Mox, Punk, and Black. The first 2 based on their history, and the third, well, evil. MJF, Eddie, and Darby says Mr. K9. Yes, says Rabbit Earl. Wyndham versus Danielson, Wyndham versus Sting, Wyndham versus Darby. Conrad saying Darby. James Grant saying Punk, Mox, and Malachi.
Mm-hmm.
Miro, God versus Demon match. That will be interesting. Danielson, Punk, Malachi Black, Moxley Punk, Darby. Seeing a lot of people saying Darby. Pac would be good. He just won the All Atlantic Championship last night. So Stang. Yes, Stang, not Sting.
I
Stang.
think Wyndham would enjoy that too.
Yes. Danhausen.
Oh my god.
Says James Chadwick.
That needs to be a cinematic match.
I just want it to happen. Like just even if they just did promos, just give me Danhausen and Wyndham doing promos for a little bit. That would be awesome. I would love that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'd love to see him against Darby. I would love to see him against Mox. That would be great to see him in Mox. Okay, Tazzy saying Wyatt versus Killer Cross. There's a rumor of him coming to AEW. Interesting. Conrad saying Wyndham versus Omega. Now that would be an interesting matchup. I would like to see that. I think that would be very, very interesting. Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. How about Danhausen and Wyndham as a tag team? What would you call them, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn? And I'm just going to keep saying your name, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn, because I love it, Rare Kitty Balloonicorn. What would you call that team? Just let me know. Cross has mentioned it, but not primarily as his only place. Okay. There are a lot of cool matchups that you could have in AEW, I think. Now let me ask you this. Erase your mind saying Wyatt versus Tony Khan. Yowieghausen says Bakayuka.
Oh my gosh.
Windhausen says James Chadwick.
I like 1,000. I dig that.
Yeah. Stefano saying, I think if he goes to AEW, he'll be able to have banger matches and silence all the critics who says he's a bad wrestler. Who in the heck said that? Because he's a really good wrestler, really talented, underrated in the ring for sure.
I think that would be Shit Meltzer.
Okay. Funhausen, says Stefano. Big Dan, I'm getting there. I got to make the case for a couple other promotions, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We're gonna get off AEW for a minute. Okay, so that's it for AEW. Now let's say he returns to WWE. Do you? What would be your feeling if he returned to WWE? And I'm asking this to the chat as well. What would you like to see him return to WWE?
It depends.
It depends. Okay, and I think I know where you're going, but tell me what it depends on.
It's hard to say because we don't know the backstory. If it really was as bad as the dirt sheets have kind of said it was in terms of the relationship between him and Devil Vince, obviously, if he is no longer in that picture, I find it more likely that he might go back. Because I think, I think Triple H would probably give him what he wants. Everybody knows what he wants, and that's full creative control. Or at least, 98% creative control. Maybe not necessarily over championships or things like that, but how his story gets told. That's what he wants. And if they're going to use him the right way, yeah, I think he could go back and be successful. But I don't think that's possible with Vince still in the picture.
Very, very valid points there. Very valid points. Erase your mind saying you rang with the Devil Vince profile pic. Nicole, what's up, Nicole? Thank you for joining in. Anyone that's joined since we shouted out everyone, hello. I can't go back through the chat and get everyone, so I apologize. Nicole's saying my only worry is that if he goes back to WWE, they'll get really hot with him and then cold with him. It's not fair to Wyndham.
I say, they've got to use him correctly. He's got to be able to have full control of how, like I said, not necessarily match results and championships, but how his story gets told in the promos.
Yeah.
He's got to be able to control that. No more, in terms of match control, no more trash matches with Trashberg.
Gotcha. C Wrestling saying have Seth bring him back. The Devil Dusty created and have Bray feud with Cody Rhodes. Ooh.
Oof.
Yeah, I like that. Baka Yuka says Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, had mentioned he will return eventually. Rabbit Earl agreeing with Jody. James Grant saying if Vince is fully removed, hopefully, I can bet Paul, Triple H, and Stephanie would reach out to him and have a talk. I think so.
Yeah, that's why I say if Vince is not in the picture, I think it's more likely that he would end up back there.
And yes, Cookie Kid on Fire, you can tag us on Twitter. Big Dan saying I want Wyndham back in WWE, but he needs full creative control over his character and how he's presented. I would love to see Taker go to bat for him. I know darn well he would in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Yeah, if he comes back, a lot of people are going to be very, very, very
cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic is the correct term there. Derek Fleming, what's up, Derek Fleming? Thank you for joining. Wes, I saw you pop in earlier. What's up, Wes? Thank you for joining. Okay, same question that I asked with AEW. Now I want to ask with WWE. Give me 3 names of people that you'd like to see him have matches with or program with if he were to return to WWE.
Roman, Cody, Demon.
There you go. Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit different. a little bit different. I'm gonna say Cody because I love that. I'm gonna throw in Bobby Lashley
I dig it.
just because they have a little bit of history, and I hopefully we can see that at some point. Um, Conrad bringing up Roman, Cody, and Orton to finish the story. Those are fair points. I want to see him and Seth again. They made magic, and I think they would. I think they would do justice to what they were doing without, and hopefully try to make us forget about the debacle that people remember from that. But I mean, I would love to see him with Derek saying AJ.
Yeah. What about AJ?
Yeah, erase your
But I
memory.
mean, who doesn't want to see the Fiend versus the Demon?
The Demon. Everyone wants to see that.
Since the very beginning of the Fiend, everybody was like, "Oh, bring it! The Fiend versus the Demon. Yeah, bring it on."
Please and thank you. Please
Yes.
and thank you. Sean Rousset, what's up? Saying Riddle, Cody, and Finn, Deanna, Roman, Cody, Orton, or Seth. And I think the other one that people want to see too is Orton for obvious reasons.
Yeah, they got to finish that story.
They got to finish that. If they had a chance to do that, Lashley and McIntyre
Here's the
too.
question:
What?
Does he go after Alexa in some way? I'm sorry. Does he go after Miss Bliss in some way?
See, I wasn't gonna say it this time. I actually caught myself because I almost said it. That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
I mean, you had crap. Now I don't remember his name. Going after Becky.
Yeah.
And tackling Becky, which made Seth snap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
Joe Gacy.
What if Little Miss Bliss joins the Dark Order? Not Dark Order.
Judgment Day.
Yes, thank you.
And
See? Brain fog.
That's how
Terrible.
it's okay.
So
it's okay.
if she joins them, then maybe you get like Edge.
Damian Priest. I'd like to see him and Damian Priest too.
No, I'm thinking of like a group he could put together against Judgment Day.
Against Judgment
You'd have Wyndham, Edge, and you need a girl. Asuka, maybe?
Why not?
I freaking love Asuka.
Asuka's
Bring
amazing.
it.
Of course. Stefano saying Joe Gacy versus the Fiend. That would be an interesting matchup. That would be a very interesting matchup. So, here's what I forgot to mention when we were talking about WWE. I mean AEW. They don't have a number 6 in Dark Order. Someone brought that up in the chat. I saw that mentioned online, on socials. So they're thinking that Wyatt 6 might allude to him being in the Dark Order, and that could be kind of their reemergence as a group. You just got something interesting.
Yeah, Cookie Kid on Fire tagged me in it on Twitter. Who else in WWE wears gloves?
Wears gloves.
Is there anybody else?
Who wears gloves?
I'm gonna text this to you.
Okay. Jessica Allen saying AJ Styles.
Yes, I would love that.
Yep, I would love that too. Yeah, Baka Yuka. We talked about that a little bit earlier. That's how we started out. We talked about the clothing line and all. Oh,
yeah. So the basis behind this is, or is that an old picture?
So for those who, and my lighting again for the third week in a row. There you go, folks. So there's a photo that Cookie Kid on Fire tagged Jodie in. So thank you for doing that. Guess Cena's opponent, and look at the hand. Look at the gloves.
That's why I ask, is this an old picture? Because obviously, but I don't remember him having. I don't know.
So what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know where that picture of Cena came from.
Baka Yuka saying seems like an old picture.
Yeah. I don't know where that picture came from, because it could have been Bray, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know Bray isn't the only one that's worn gloves.
No. I mean, now the other person that wears gloves,
It's AJ.
AJ wears gloves. Brock also wears gloves.
Oh, could you imagine that?
That's two pictures put together there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because it looks like there's it's somebody that's wearing a glove.
Yes. There's a glove.
That's why I asked if where that picture came from and how old it is, because there's a lot of people that have worn, not a lot of people, but there's been other people that have worn gloves.
Jesse, my sister, and my co-host on our horror movie podcast, Movies to Be Murdered By. We just recorded an episode yesterday. She is joining us. So hello, Jesse. We got another Jesse in the chat now. So
that's awesome.
Doesn't Roman wear gloves too? Yes. Cody had gloves when he was Stardust. Okay. We got 10 minutes left, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to get to everything, but we're going to try. Control your narrative. That's another one that people are really kicking around and saying.
I dig it. I think the bottom line is, and this is something that he told me himself, like, he has a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing is going to be, where does he tell it? And I think control your narrative would be a good way to do that. Obviously, we want you to come on here and do it on here, but but I think control your narrative would be a good option, for that, to be able to tell his story the way he wants to, without any kind of scripting or anything like that. Just be able to say what he needs to say, have some theatrics into it. I think that would be a good outlet for him too.
Yeah. And obviously we all want to see him face EC3 and Titan there. So Big Dan saying, Deanna saying, I've said control your narrative for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Big Dan saying control your narrative makes sense from a friend standpoint, as Adam is the Barney Rubble to Wyndham's Fred Flintstone. I always love Big Dan's pop culture. Okay, let's see. C Wrestling saying, so that picture was posted by WWE today as a guest, the opponent. Wrong answers only. That's not gloves. That's wrist. It's wrist tape. It's Cena STFU on Rollins.
Oh. See, I knew C would probably know the answer to that.
AEW's July 6th show is in Rochester, New York. Brody's, yep, that's right. Baka Yuka saying EC3 and Adam Scherr had been teasing Wyndham to do the next part of CYN. Jesse saying, I kind of don't think Bray will go on Control Your Narrative, although I'm sure it would be awesome, but I don't think it will. I could be wrong though.
I don't really, I have a harder time picturing it. But I think he could. I don't think it's very likely.
Yeah. I'm kind of there with you on that. Out of the ones that we're mentioning, I think that might be
The least.
That might be the least, or it might be third on my list. Conrad will be at the Rochester show.
Ooh.
I wish I could go to it. I so wish I could go to it. It's a few hours away, but I wish I could go. All right. I saved this one for last because I just did. Yeah.
I wonder why.
And everyone knows how I feel about this, but I saved it for last. So Impact Wrestling. What can you say? There's a lot of stuff I want to say, but we only got 6 minutes left. So
Yeah, so I'll breeze through it. But I mean, we've been saying all along that's if we could put him anywhere, that's where we would put him, because I think they are at that point. Obviously, they have a great product and they put on a great show, but they need that superstar boost. Mm-hmm. They need their Roman. They need their CM Punk. They need that. They need that balloon to pop so they can just go to the moon, so to speak. So, and I think Wyndham would be the ideal person for them to build that show around, to have their headliner, to have their number one guy, to have that person to build their show around. And I just think that, that's the place that I would like to see him the most, because I just think they would do such a good job with handling. I think they would give him the creative control that he wants. I think that, like I said, he would be their superstar. So
yes,
I bring it.
Okay, I'm gonna wave the flag of Impact Wrestling. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes, you're darn right, Big Dan. I'm gonna sing the praises, and what? I don't really. A lot of people may disagree, but it's fine. Impact Wrestling is owned by Anthem. Anthem, like James just said in the chat, is worth $118 billion.
Yes, they have the money.
They have the money.
Oh yeah.
They definitely have the money. So I don't think that's the issue. I think right now, and this is me being a huge Impact fan and us doing a watch along on this channel every week. I think Impact Wrestling makes a lot of sense from a few different standpoints. I think one, they would allow him to
weird.
They would allow him to be him.
Yeah.
Just be him. Like do what you do best.
Just do you.
Do you. And Impact Wrestling, C Wrestling saying Impact should focus a lot more on the gimmicks and storylines, especially the weird and supernatural ones. Is what they do best.
They're so good at it.
They're so good at it. And they're at a crossroads right now. Mm-hmm. Because the wrestling, if you haven't watched Impact, I would challenge you to watch it or go back and watch a recent episode. Mm-hmm. But I honestly feel that Impact Wrestling, they have the great wrestling already. They have some really good superstars, but they need that one final piece mm-hmm. to draw more eyes in. They need that big headliner to draw eyes in. And that's no disrespect to Josh Alexander, who's their world champion. He's been great. He's been phenomenal. Love Josh Alexander.
Yeah, and he's a super nice dude.
Yes. So I mean, had him on the channel, great
Yep.
stuff. But I think they would do so well with Wyndham there. That would be the draw. I think that would be the draw for people to be like, you know what? Yeah, let me turn back on Impact Wrestling so I can check out what he does there. Now, matchup wise, I can tell you who I want to see him against there. Vincent,
Yes.
PCO, Josh Alexander,
Mm-hmm.
Moose, Sammy Callahan,
Yeah.
Eddie Edwards.
The whole roster.
Yes. Black Taurus. I want to see him against as many people as possible. And Deanna saying Impact is on the point of breaking out big. Yes, they are.
And that's what they need. They need that superstar.
Yes, they need that one. They need that one last piece.
I think
That'll
he's
get
perfect.
them over. And he's perfect for it. Ballistic Integrity saying Eddie Edwards versus Wyndham would be awesome. I saw someone say, Derek saying Josh needs an antagonist to battle with. Absolutely. Eric Young, EY and Wyndham.
Oh,
EY on the microphone, like for people who remember EY from WWE, this ain't your EY from WWE. This is EY at his best, returning to form, even elevating from where he was in Impact before. This is like, I mean, EY is on a different level, and people should recognize that. I can't believe I forgot about EY. Also, Joe Doring, Big Joe Doring, and Wyndham would be tremendous too. Yeah,
I just want Wyndham and Vincent. I mean,
yeah. Wyndham and Vincent. Yes, you dig what I'm saying.
like, just shut up and take my money.
Oh, see wrestling saying that Wyndham changes people, and we get Super Eric back.
Like,
Yeah.
that's all I want. Like, just give me Wyndham versus Vincent, and I like.
Yeah, I mean, that would be tremendous. That would be absolutely tremendous. We didn't bring up NWA. We didn't bring up him going on the independent circuit and doing some different things there, working some different places. GCW. I know James Chadwick watches GCW. I don't know how many people in the chat watch GCW, but let me know your thoughts on that. Big Dan, Joe would probably pass out and just Wyndham as the leader of Decay would be absolutely crazy. I mean,
I think we'd all be sitting here going,
yeah. I mean, you put him with Rosemary and Crazy Steve,
"Oh my gosh!"
and Havoc. Oh my goodness. See, yeah, I'm gonna shut up now because, as you can tell, I don't know how many people can tell this by listening to me. And I turned my camera off because my lighting got bad again. Tabby bringing up MLW. MLW would be another good place. But I don't know if you can tell. But I'm really, really passionate about Impact Wrestling. Like I want to see them succeed, and I feel like them bringing him in would do wonders.
Yeah.
Baka Yuka saying Rosemary would be a better Sister Abigail for Wyndham. What if that was one of the entities that she took on is Sister Abigail? Yeah, that's right, Alicia. I got too excited. Okay, all right, we're over time, and I didn't think we were gonna make it through everything like I wanted to, and that's fine. We can talk about this stuff again, but that's what's so cool about this. And just think about this: we just had a conversation that lasted over an hour about someone who hasn't been on our TV screens in over a year. That just goes to show.
It goes to show how awesome he is and how much we adore him.
Yes, Absolutely. And I'll throw this out there too. I would love to see him and Father James Mitchell do a little something together. Father James Mitchell would be great to bring him in, I believe. All right. Jodie, any final thoughts before we head out this week? Because Lord knows we talked about a lot.
Ugh, brain fog. Wyndham, you know that we love you. We're here. If you want to come on and tell your story, you're always welcome. Caleb, you know you're always welcome too. We don't have to talk about wrestling because I know you don't watch wrestling, but we can talk about anything you want. We can talk about horror movies. I know you're a horror movie fan. Look, me and Jeff are horror movie fans too. That way, horror movie fans too. So both of those gentlemen know that they are welcome anytime.
There you go. There you go. Ballistic Integrity saying if he had showed up at Forbidden Door, you'd have marked out. Here's the thing. If he shows up at a Piggly Wiggly, I'm going to mark out. And I feel like people, a lot of people
Yeah. I mean,
would mark out regardless of where he ends up. It's all about supporting Wyndham and where he ends up. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. This was tons of fun. We're gonna do this again. Obviously, we do this weekly. I don't think we're gonna do it next week because it's
July
it's the 4th. So we'll be off next week. But yeah,
Isn't there a pay-per-view on this weekend?
yes.
So
Friday and Saturday.
We'll be busy doing that.
Yeah, we'll be doing Saturday. So
Saturday. Okay.
yeah, Saturday. So
I'll
so
be
yeah.
here.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Eric saying July 4th is my birthday. Well, happy early birthday.
It's my brother's
Eric.
birthday too.
Happy early birthday, Eric. I hope that I can get this to work real quick because we're overtime, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, early birthday, Eric. All right, folks, we're gonna take off now. We'll be back on this channel on Thursday night for guess what? Impact Wrestling. If you haven't watched Impact Wrestling in a while, come check it out. Come check us out in the chat. Hang out with us, folks. Thank you all so much for joining. It was a really fun night to talk with all of you, and we will see you all next time for another episode of Abby's Window. Take care, everyone.